Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
General Kenobi. Sorry.
Delayed reaction there, Luke, but I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Everyone got in there. I had to wait until
Hi.
Welcome back.
Is it my go? Is it my turn? How are we all?
Very good.
Good.
Not too bad, thank you very much.
We're live, yeah?
We are live.
This is it. This is the stream, apparently, yeah.
This is all
Just,
that
welcome to the awkward introduction show. No, we are back suddenly once again. Back in a timely fashion.
Suddenly?
Robot suddenly is dead.
Oh, did you miss it? No, he was great.
you missed it. You
must have blacked out for a minute.
Yeah, it was great.
It was,
Sounds about right.
It was a good one.
Yeah, one of the best.
Dismantled.
Yeah, it's definitely been taken apart for scrap.
I mean, it's only about 6 months before the whole show is just different AI programs
Why did
talking
we
to each
spend
other,
all that
isn't
money
it?
on building a robot only to have him dismantled?
Just so we knew we could.
It's always iterating for the next version.
Yeah.
So, episode 23.
Yeah, it's quite a good turnaround for us, isn't it? Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks since 22.
Mr. Birch.
Mr. Burgess cranked it out.
Well done.
Did crank it out, and it shows.
How'd you find it, Burge?
Good. Yeah. I got about halfway through, and then had a lot of childcare to do, and then scrambled to get the rest done. So, if it goes a bit off-piste towards the end, you'll know what that's about. But it was good. It's kind of like it's getting hard. I think the next episode will be quite difficult to write because it's just before the conclusion.
Yeah. The feeling for this arc now is like kind of having to keep a holding pattern. I was trying to come up with a few original ideas and sort of keep it fun, and it is tricky. I don't know.
Sorry, go on. Yeah,
I was going to say I don't know if next episode's hard or the actual conclusion is going to be hardest, because the conclusion at least you can kind of put a full stop on it, whereas next week you just kind of.
I think the conclusion you can basically do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's so wacky.
It wouldn't matter because there's a talking kangaroo in mind.
It doesn't
make up, like.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a logical piecing together of everything that's come before it. It'd be great if it would, though, Adam and Ella. If we do that.
I did think actually that we should we should both just aim to ramp it up for the ending, regardless whatever happens in this episode. But I feel like it shouldn't be the very last episode. Yeah, very last episode shouldn't be the definitive conclusion. It should be a conclusion in 2 parts. I think might be better.
I was just about to say, so we know it's me and you now, so we could just Russo brothers the shit out of it. We'll just combine for the pair.
I would so be in for that.
Bill it.
We have been collaborating anyway. We
spinner. It's me and you, man.
I'm well in for that. Why don't we do
Endgame,
why don't we do that?
2.
I'm so in for that. That would be so much fun. Just collab on the last 2 episodes. That sounds great. Daniel's this shit.
Puts a dampener on this episode, I guess. But,
hope you enjoyed doing it by your own.
Before Endgame.
That'd be fun though. I think that's not a bad idea.
Equally good.
Age of Ultron in it. Let's be honest.
Iolo, if you just want to put hashtag Marvel on just to kind of boost the numbers a bit to get the get the kids watching this.
Spoilers, hashtag spoilers, hashtag Marvel. No, I'm looking forward to this.
I don't have any specific notes other than it's a very Luke heavy episode.
Oh, nice.
The driver's involved.
The guy with the very sore throat.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Rain us down for it.
Didn't realise.
I'm going to go down fire for you, Burge, for you.
Before we started, that's kind of a spoiler for how the last episode played out, because there was 2 drivers and only one of them presumably was remaining.
But that's true.
We'll see.
I ruined it. So what's the point?
Well, you forgot that much.
End it around now.
Actually, good segue into the recap, I guess.
Oh yeah, Luke Williams, are you going to hit me with a sound, please? Nail it.
Was that great?
Oh.
Great, that was fun.
What did we have to do? Was that a whistle? Was it? That was beautiful.
That was crazy.
So good.
That was awesome.
My favorite one ever.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Do you know what would be great? Do you know what would be really, really cool? To do a live but suddenly. As in, not necessarily live, because this is live. As in, all of us in one room together.
That'd be fun.
Okay. Yeah,
In-person one. That'd be really
That
fun.
would be really interesting.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
Vibe a little bit more, though.
You still have to see transition sounds, though.
Yeah,
of course. Don't take that my only job away from me. It's my only creative contribution to the show now.
I could at this point easily add sound effects, but I refuse.
In terms of the recap, then,
54 lines, so it's not.
busy boy today. Yeah, where are we up to then? What's happening in this story in a nutshell? Anyone? Any takers?
I won an Oscar, and that's as far as I remember now. We are essentially in a locked room mystery with robots. The driver is the detective trying to solve who killed now 2 people, although I suppose one of those murders has now been seemingly solved because the driver did it, I believe.
That's not been made clear.
Okay, not been made clear.
I think it was implied. As with everything else, it's been implied, but it's not been
suggested, but not concluded.
That's fair. So we have 2 murders: an old lady and a robot man who is still present in the story because he was a robot and he now is a head. And then we lost Cyril for the last episode. Cyril is the proprietor of the manor, and he turned up at the very end of the episode, revealed that there was 2 drivers.
And
there was...
in the past, there was kind of shady goings on around the chateau in the past.
A familiar face reared his head.
Yes.
It's not her, as I always picture her.
No, first name confirmation, Ulrich.
Ulrich, yeah.
I didn't scour long enough to figure out the first name that had previously come up, and it's like something else. But for now, it's Ulrich.
Don't remember.
Adam, any clarity on that, Adam? Was it always just Doctor for you?
Yeah, it's always Doctor to me. There was never a first name in anything I did.
For more details, see episodes 1 to 17 of Bussett.
Or 1, actually, because I think that's the only time we ever refer to as von Leichenberg. After that, she's Dr. L forever.
Just Dr. L. She. They.
She.
He. Yeah.
So Dr. L's back, possibly.
In a flashback.
In a flashback, sure.
We added...
Yeah, some sort of shenanigans about looking for...
A faint hint of time travel.
Yeah,
just an
allusions to time travel.
A taste
of
smattering of time travel.
What we're getting at really is it's all gone a bit batshit, hasn't it? But I feel I'm kind of curious to see how Burgess kept on the rails, or whether
I'm confident Burgess is going to sort of like claw it back from that precipice of madness.
I think. Well, you'll see partway through. There's a couple of moments where I was writing and then I kind of just looked at the screen, read back over it. I was like, I'm mad. This is absolutely terrible and weird. Like, what is this? So you'll get those bits, and then, but I've kind of hopefully left enough like openings for you two, Iolo and Adam, to like kind of play with. But then I've also kind of charged towards a particular conclusion to this episode. But it'll all become clear. The other thing to mention is that Roger, who's the robot, the victim of the murder mystery, the first victim, had his memory wiped. So the last 2 days are gone from his memory.
Yeah.
Which is pertinent to the plot, I would say.
Did I do anything to contradict that? I'm worried now because I kind of forgot that detail.
No, not at all. No.
Yeah, it was 48 hours.
I do remember, as soon as you mentioned it, I'll remember that. But, yeah.
It's no.
But you remember his life previously with George?
Yeah. It's just the last 2 days. Yeah.
Cool, excellent. I'm quite excited for this because this was your initial setup, Burge, with the Chateau and the murder mystery theme, and you set it up. So, and this is your second run at it after
our. I'm too excited.
Yeah, I'm ravenous with excitement.
Apologies in advance.
So this is episode 6 of this sort of arc, isn't it? I guess you've had a go, and then there's 4 episodes since then.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's exciting. Anything else we wanted to go over quickly before we jumped in, or?
Nothing from me. Luke, I'd say give it like a growl, like your driver. Give it a kind of
bring the intensity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode 1 intensity.
Christian Bale level intensity, or
when you're doing an orc or something in D&D, that kind of level of not a Cockney one, but just
Meat's back on the menu, boys.
Cockney.
Why are they all Cockneys? I don't.
Which would imply that they would have to have menus in Lord of the Rings.
Peter Jackson just had like a bad night in London one day. He's like these savages.
Orcs, all of you
menus
orcs.
in Lord of the Rings isn't completely out of the realm of possibility, is it?
It implies an orc restaurant, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I quite like that idea.
Would you like the grey poupard?
I think I'm sure Saruman seems very sort of debonair and classy. He seems like a well-read kind of bloke.
It's kind of like Star Wars, though, isn't it? Like the most evil people don't have time for like enjoyment. They just sit in their lairs and like thrones of jagged steel and with fire billowing behind them. There's kind of no culture behind it, is there? It's just evil motif.
I like where this is going.
So
an essay.
But yeah, bring excited for Luke's orcish.
I don't know which way I'm going to go.
Oh, let's find out.
Let's find out.
Luke Williams, give me a sound again, please.
Bringing it tonight, mate.
Cool.
We do need to montage them, don't we? We need to.
Please don't.
We need to put them all together. Like a
Top 5 Luke sounds.
Could you, when you do the montage, could you like auto tune it so it follows like a particular, like as if it was T-Pain doing it?
Okay. Right, should we get going?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
But suddenly, the driver, episode 23, interviews in a nutshell by Jacob. It's important. Burgess. Previously on But Suddenly. Interior, Chateau dining room, day. The driver holds Monique hostage with a gun. Cyril kicks out at the driver, allowing Monique to escape. A secondary swipe from Cyril causes the gun to fly out of the driver's hand. It lands equidistant between the two drivers. They both dive, a scuffle ensues. Both their hands are lightning quick, striking and blocking each other's blows, anticipating each other's every move. The gun breaks loose. Cyril grabs it. He points it at the two drivers.
Cease your chicanery!
He fires a warning shot. It's great. It's like exactly how you read it the last time.
Is it really?
Consistent. He fires a warning shot into the ceiling. Dust and chunks of plaster fall. It has the desired effect as the two drivers stop their scuffle and stand side by side, indistinguishable.
I need some answers. We all need some ruddy answers. First of all, which of you utter bastards knocked me on the head and accosted poor Monique?
He's waving the gun around menacingly. The drivers point at each other. Unbeknownst to anyone, a small red dotted laser has appeared on one of the drivers.
Oh, that old Straches, Amon. Ruddy pathetic. But no matter, that can wait. What's of more pertinence is how...
He doesn't have a chance to finish the sentence. Just to say, I think converting it to PDF has fucked up some of the accents on the French words, so apologies in advance.
I was a little bit thrown, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
It's like Burgess gone next level with these.
Presumably that's going to happen throughout, so sorry.
I'll wing it, don't worry about it.
A window pane shatters, and one of the drivers crumples to the ground, a bullet hole in her head. Blood oozes out. There's a shriek from the other side of the room. Even the Americans may finally have clocked the gravity of the situation. Cyril, in some degree of shock, steps towards the still standing driver when suddenly she takes advantage of his confusion and grabs the pistol back. She speaks with a growl.
Everyone listen closely. I'm done being polite.
Wait, you mean earlier that was supposed to be you being polite? Struth.
A bullet shoots from the driver's pistol. It whistles past Marcel and shaves a fragment of his pert kangaroo ear. The patrons respond in shock.
Ow!
Quel disaster!
Oh my god!
Ruddy hell!
Marcel minds keeling over, but then looks legitimately concerned as he rubs one of his hands against his ear to check the damage. Florence rushes over to his side. The driver cocks her gun again.
Am I going orc the whole way through?
Yeah. As long as your throat can take it.
Okay, I can. I'm done fucking around.
There's a polite cough from the table of Americans, all of whom are struggling to keep their eyes from Adam's driver's dead body. The driver spins around and points the gun at Lucy, who's holding a hand up like a schoolgirl.
So, that shooting just now wasn't just elaborate pyrotechnics? You mean to say, this is for real?
The driver crouches down, sticks her fingers into the hole in a doppelganger's head, and then removes them, revealing sticky red flesh.
Seems pretty real to me.
The Americans now shriek in horror.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Andy throws up, Bruce chokes on his eggs, and Brad looks about ready to pass out.
Chokes on his eggs. Listen to me very carefully.
The room of patrons, staff, and tourists listen with rapt, somewhat terrified attention.
There's something unusual about the chateau. Peculiar things have happened here and will continue to happen long after this incident is over. Something was disturbed deep within the ground beneath us.
She points to Cyril.
Ask him if you want to know more. Personally, I don't give a fuck about any of that. I'm here to investigate what happened to that.
She points at Roger's head, whose chin is now completely coated with baked beans as George holds the spoon limply.
This again.
The driver walks towards the door to the dining room and gestures with a gun.
Go to your rooms.
The various patrons hesitate. Still clutching his ear, Marcel speaks up.
And what?
And wait. I'm conducting interviews. You're all suspects as far as I'm concerned.
The Americans look sheepishly at one another, as sheepish as Americans can look.
Even us? I mean, we arrived after the murder.
The driver considers this for a moment.
You're not suspects, but you're really fucking annoying.
She points to the door with a gun, and the patrons, staff, and tourists begin filing out of the room. Interior Chateau hallway day. As the groups walk through the hallway and up the large red staircase, Monique catches up to Cyril and speaks to him in hushed Cockney tones.
You okay? That looked like a nasty bash.
Oh, what? Yes, I'm absolutely bon.
That's a relief. What does she mean, something was disturbed?
Well, it's a little bit difficult to explain, you see.
There is another loud gunshot. More plaster falls from the ceiling. The driver stands with the pistol in the air.
Jesus Christ!
No stalling. Jesus Christ.
Cyril and Monique hurry up the stairs along with the others. Interior Chateau corridor day. The guests enter their rooms one by one. George holds Roger's head and waits outside their room.
can't go in there, Osh. That's where you were kind of murdered.
It's fine, Pet. I'm still here, aren't I?
But your body, I don't know whether I'm ready to see it again.
There's not going to be any blood, you know.
I know, it's just...
Come on. The sooner we get in there, the sooner we're done with this whole silly affair.
The Townsends into the room. Interior Chateau drawing room, day. Stark sunlight filters through the window, catching a million dust particles that shine almost like glitter. Literary. The remains of the Samuel Pepys bust have yet to be removed, nor have the slight smirks on the other busts' faces. The driver stands over the corpse of Beryl Bainbridge, resting peacefully and deadedly in a wingback chair. She taps Beryl's head with the nozzle of her gun.
Wakey, wakey.
The corpse remains motionless.
You can drop the act. It's just us here now.
Nothing happens. The busts give awkward sideways glances at each other. I suppose this is all they can do, given that they're motionless busts.
Do you need to get our boss on the phone?
Tiny, almost imperceptible snores can be heard from Beryl's body. The driver rolls her eyes. She raises the pistol and brings the book down hard on Beryl's head. A loud crack rings out across the room, and the body of Beryl Bainbridge begins to split down the middle like a nut. The driver peels both halves away, revealing a much smaller, younger, sleepier Beryl Bainbridge curled up in the centre. Beryl now looks to be about 6 years old, and she speaks with a 6-year-old's voice. She rouses from her slumber and spots the driver.
This is me in a nutshell. Help! I'm in a nutshell. How did I get into this bloody great big nutshell?
Austin Powers again. Very droll.
Oh, I used to love that bit.
I couldn't be less in the mood. Full report. Now.
Suit yourself, you big meanie.
Beryl jumps out of her ladder shell and perches on the arm of the wingback.
Perfect 6-year-old, by the way.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's great.
I can feel the inexperience as like an aura.
Got it all.
Full range.
The memory chip is gone. It got burned in the fire. I didn't say who did it, but Georgie and Hetty were sitting nearby.
The driver paces back and forth.
What else?
The beiges are definitely hiding something, though I'm not sure what.
Okay. Hopefully, the worker droids will find the backup memory chip. So, who poisoned you?
Beryl laughs with childlike glee and then leaps from the chair onto the driver's shoulder.
Oh, but surely the great driver 451 can figure out an easy peasy lemon squeezy mystery such as that.
This is absolutely brilliant.
Well done.
The driver reaches up and throws Beryl with some
I'm
force
a fucking
across
manager.
the room. Beryl pivots in the air and lands gracefully on the mantelpiece alongside the busts.
I told you, I'm not in the mood.
Ooh, touchy.
Beryl turns and considers the William Shakespeare bust carefully for a moment before disregarding him and turning back to the driver.
Much ado about a shite playwright, if you ask me.
Let's not get into it. We're wasting enough time already.
The driver tosses the corpse of Beryl Bainbridge on the floor and moves the wingback chair into her desired position. The younger, less dead Beryl giggles.
No respect for the dead.
The driver retrieves a small red ball from her pocket and throws it in the air. Instead of dropping to the floor, it reaches eye level and then hovers.
Let the interviews commence.
The red ball shoots out of the room. Interior Chateau hallway, day. We follow the red ball as it zooms through the hallway and up the stairs. As we get closer to it, we can hear it muttering to itself.
Red ball, 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 red ball.
Interior Chateau corridor, day. The red ball flies down the corridor past the bedrooms and its speech gets louder.
Red ball, 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 red ball.
The ball reaches a midpoint between all of the rooms and then seemingly clears its throat.
Interviews will now commence. Please follow me once your name is called.
Thanks, Yolo. I'm sorry about that.
It's fine, buddy. I love Red Bull. He's my favourite character.
Interior Monique's room, day. The room is small. There's just room for a bed and a sink. Various posters line the walls. Looks like really bad student.
Someone's reading forward.
I thought you meant Neil Morrissey.
Yes, we can.
Monique sits on the end of the bed. She hears the voice from outside and goes to leave. Before she does so, she kisses a picture of Morrissey on the wall. He's holding a bunch of daffodils in his hand.
Wish me luck, sweetheart. Wait, what voice is that, Monique? Was it still Cockney?
Cockney.
That'll do. Wish me luck, sweetheart.
After she has left the room, Morrissey begins spinning around and swaying inside the poster.
Does he? Oh, sorry, Adam's up in a minute anyway. So.
The boy with a thorn in his side gets a kiss from Monique.
Perfect. The poster next to Morrissey on the wall springs to life and starts singing. This one is Sting from the Police.
Don't stand so, don't stand so, don't stand so close to me.
It's impossible to move. We're all posters here.
So the poster joins in. This one shows Kate Bush. She looks rather wearily at her two neighbours. Out in the wild and windy moors. I never had to put up with this shit. Can you two put a can in it?
All I'm saying is,
do we really need all that immigration?
Sting looks to Kate Bush for guidance.
Should I send an SOS to the world?
Oh, babushka. Again, sorry, thanks for humour me.
thanks for putting yourself in as one of the singers.
Yeah.
So you could have had the position to not do that. You shared the burden.
I did.
Enjoyable. Good performances all around there.
Interior Chateau drawing room, day. The driver sits in the wing-back chair, a large full brandy glass in her hand. Beryl is perched on the back of the chair like Jabba the Hutt's shitty little Kawaki monkey lizard. Opposite them is a small, uncomfortable chair occupied in turn by all of the patrons of the chateau. This scene cuts between their differing answers to the driver's questions. Monique is the first to take a seat. She looks nervous.
Where were you the night of the murder?
May I ask first whether you are the driver that knows about...
Yes, I know. Jesus, please drop the accent.
Right, okay. Night of the murder. I was busy downstairs cleaning up, getting ready for the next day.
Marcel pretends to sit on a mime chair, but gets uncomfortable straight away and shifts over onto a real chair.
Well, I was in my room doing a few practice mimes before bed, smoking. Invisible box. Eaten by a crocodile. The usual.
Split screen, we see Florence, Robert and Hetty all sitting in the chair looking peeved. They all answer in exactly the same way.
I was in my room.
The driver takes a sip from her large brandy.
What do you mean? You can't remember?
Cyril looks sheepish. He fiddles with a loose string on his cardigan.
Well, you know how it is when you reach a certain age. It gets hard to say souvenir certain things.
The driver says nothing, but fixes an icy stare at the owner of the chateau. After an awkward pause, Cyril relents.
I guess it's possible that I was in the basement. I mean, sous-sol.
Now, what on earth were you doing down there?
Cyril looks down at his hands.
It's complicated.
Cut to interior George Townsend's room, day. George Townsend stands in the middle of his room, staring at the mostly repaired body of Roger Townsend, which is still lying on the bed. The two worker droids released by the driver are hard at work, fusing bits of circuitry together. They're almost finished. They don't register George, nor do they seem to notice Roger's head, which watches their every move.
Considering she hates my guts, she's done a bang-up job of fixing my body.
This is so weird, Rog. Seeing your body like that.
I can't even begin to compute how strange it is for you.
Compute? This is how it starts. You'll be speaking binary before I know it.
Roger glances up at his husband.
Come on, that's not what I meant.
I know, love. It's just seeing your body like that. It brings it all home.
The worker droids put the finishing touches on Roger's body, and then without a word they hop off the bed and trot out of the room.
Do you mind doing the honours?
George lifts Roger's head up to face him. He stares at Roger for a moment and then begins to walk over to the body on the bed. Interior Chateau drawing room day. The scene continues to cut between the patrons as the driver pursues the truth.
How well did you know the victim?
Not well enough to know he was a droid.
That's all.
We did a bit, everyone really friendly with each other.
It's not like we discussed anything personal. And even if we had, his own husband didn't know he was a droid, so how would I?
We're all pally. It was a good mix of patrons, old and new.
Mr. and Mrs. Beige sit side by side, squeezed onto the same small chair. We barely spoke with him other than the usual pleasantries.
I asked everyone to come one by one.
We are of one mind.
I don't give a shit how much you agree with one another.
You misunderstand. We are of one mind. Beryl cackles from a perch behind the driver.
I've just figured out what was on about them. You're a hive mind, ain't you?
Mr. and Mrs. Beige continue to stare straight ahead at the driver and Beryl. An identical smile begins to spread at exactly the same time over each of their faces. Interior kitchen day. The kitchen appears empty at first, apart from a large cauldron of bubbling something set on the stove. On closer inspection, we see 2 pairs of legs sticking out from under a table. It is Claude and Clarence. They are each playing on a Game Boy Color. Claude is see-through, Clarence's is purple. A Nintendo Game Link cable connecting the 2 handhelds. Just mash B and it'll go faster.
You're so full of shit. You have to tap B as the Pokeball is rocking. That's the only way to guarantee it.
Clarence peers over at Claude's screen as an Abra escapes from his Pokeball and teleports away. Clarence tries not to laugh.
Fucking teleporting, spoon-bending piece of shit. Where's his weekend you promised me anyway?
I'm just trying to figure out which box I left in. Claude stares uneasily at the door to the drawing room.
How close do you reckon they're getting?
Relax. If they suspected anything was awry, they'd have already called us in.
I don't know. All they need to do is look in the... Ah! Got you, you Yuri Geller psychic little bitch.
Clarence watches Claude enter the nickname of his Abra as Fuck Truck. He pats him gently on the shoulder. Maybe we should go back to Animal Crossing. Take the edge off. Interior Chateau drawing room day. Outside the window, dark clouds have covered the sun, meaning the room itself has been lent a gloomy, ominous feel. The room is lit only by a few dim lamps. The light is faint rather than them being stupid. Just a little joke for you.
Hey.
My colleague here informs me that you're close with the victim's husband.
We focus on Hetty Gardner. She is very lithe, almost to the point of resembling a cat or ocelot. Her once expressive face is now rather withdrawn. Beryl? How is that even possible?
Never mind that. What is it that you know about George?
What about George? The driver leans forward and takes out a gun once more.
This isn't an Agatha Crystal. Agatha Crystal. This isn't an Agatha Crystal novel. I'm not a mustache-twirling nonce.
Don't think Farrell was ever inappropriate with children.
I will shoot you.
The driver cocks a gun and aims at Hetty's head.
You can either spill the beans or your guts. Choice is up to you.
Okay, I'll talk. Please, there's no need for any more violence. Hetty stands up and paces near her chair. Ooh.
The intensity of the driver sort of brought that.
Yeah. He nailed that. Like, I think he got a good voice of it. Like in the second episode or something, he like really like lent into it. Then.
Yeah,
I think it's back
when they do like the interrogations and stuff.
Yeah.
That's good.
Everything all right?
Yeah. It's fine. Where was that? It's fine.
Middle of age 19, Hetty stands up. Yeah.
Hetty stands up and paces near her chair, thanks. Well, the first thing you should know is that George and I go way back. We've known each other for years.
Now, this is interesting.
Seriously, though, what are you?
Look, just back off, okay? It's a whole nut thing. It's tough to get into.
The nut?
What?
The nut is tough to get into. Is that what you meant? Or the driver shoots a pistol once more, breaking one of the panes of the glass commonly known as windows.
How many times do I have to explain that I'm not in the fucking mood?
Hetty returns to her seat and Beryl withdraws quietly.
How did you meet George Townland?
We worked together back in the day. We worked for a cybernetics company. Before Hetty can elaborate, the two worker droids enter the room and return to the driver's side.
Finally, you finished. Where's the backup memory chip?
It's hidden within the droid's armpit.
Gross. Hand it over.
The droids look at each other awkwardly.
We don't have it, man.
Well, where is it?
You programmed us to leave it for you to extract.
Panic starts to rise in the driver.
Well, where's the body now? Is it still in the room?
Affirmative. It needs its control center before it can move.
Worker droid 2 turns to Hetty to offer a clarification.
Its head.
Was there anyone else in the room when you left?
What is this? The third degree? I'm joshing. Bzz, bzz, bzz. I don't even know what the third degree is.
A loud piercing noise is suddenly heard throughout the chateau. It's somewhere between a metallic screech and a human scream. The driver bolts from a seat and runs out of the room. Beryl clings to her back. Interior chateau corridor day. The driver comes to the corridor of bedrooms and notices most of the patrons are gathered outside George Townsend's room. We hear a robotic voice from off screen.
Factory reset confirmed. 5, 4, 3.
No!
The driver pushes past the other guests and bursts into the room. Interior George Townsend's room day. Inside the room, Roger Townsend is standing stock still in the centre of the room. His eyes have vanished and been replaced by glowing orbs. George stands beside him, crying.
Rog, stop saying that, Rog, stop it!
2, 1.
The driver makes her way over to George. Sorry.
You interrupted his bleep bloops. again with further Phil bleep bloops, please.
2, 1. Bleep bloop.
The driver makes her way over to George Townsend and grabs him by the throat. She lifts him up and pins him against the wall.
What did you do?
To be continued.
Lovely.
Nice.
Ludicrous post credits.
Yep, I've seen it.
Was that all right?
Yeah, it's great, man.
Yeah,
Excellent,
really
excellent.
Always enjoyable.
Shall we keep reading?
Yeah. Always.
Always.
And then we can
Go
go
to post credits. Exterior LA alleyway night. The alleyway is dimly lit. It looks stupid. There's graffiti on the brick walls, a dumpster, trash cans, fire escape ladders, a Spider-Man, and other things you find in an alleyway in an American film. There are also two old friends. One is smartly dressed, fresh from a movie awards evening, and the other is less smartly dressed, fresh from somewhere else. It's not clear where.
You said we. Are the others here as well?
Not exactly, but they're not here.
Good to hear you're still talking out your ass.
A smile spreads across Luke's face, visible even under the large salt and pepper wizard's beard.
I've missed you, mate.
Yola goes in for the hug, but Luke backs away.
Too soon.
That's fair. When you say planetary threat, what exactly do you mean?
Luke runs his fingers along the coarse brick wall. It actually looks quite painful and Yola winces. But soon, large cracks of light begin to appear along the lines Luke's fingers traced. And then a whole section of the wall crumples, revealing a large library. In the centre of the room sit Adam Bunn, Adam Jacob Burgess, and Iolo Roberts. They are poring over stacks and stacks of books piled high. But upon seeing Luke and Yola, they raise their heads and nod.
Cassette, we'll show you.
Wide-eyed with wonder, Yola follows Luke into the library.
Oh, you'll hit me back for the flights over to you, right? You loaded now, so it's only fair.
But couldn't you have just used this technique to get over here?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna pass up the opportunity to fly business class. That's so me.
As the argument between two old friends continues, the brick wall magically seals itself back up, as though it had never been disturbed. To be continued.
I like that. So there's a post-credit scene context now. We have two different strands of story.
I look, it's this forward, like it's theme time.
Whole separate story going on.
I like it.
That was excellent, Burge. That was so good.
I really enjoyed that.
It's you've got like
Thanks,
you've
guys.
got like this like this like style, this like visual style that is just like, I wish I had your brain. I'm so envious of the way you think, because like I would never think of floating ball. I would never think of Beryl the Younger breaking out of Beryl the Elder's fucking body. I'm just like, it's so fucking delightful. So like, and I'm just sat there going like, I hate Burge because he came up with Mr. and Mrs. Beige being a hive mind himself, and I was like, I wanted to come up with that. It's Ace, you're so good at it, buddy. It was excellently paced as well, but really, really well done.
I don't think anyone really wants to come up with the flying red ball.
It's fucking great. I loved Red Ball.
Was great.
Red Ball's brilliant. The posters. God, I just
still recovering from Jesus Christ Day.
Jesus Christ Day. Jesus Christ Day.
It was spelled with an H.
But you've always had this knack of like bringing in the old. Do you know what I mean? Like sort of like small little references to like older episodes that make it feel sort of like connected. So like you mentioning the busts and stuff, and the fact that the bust was still on the floor and stuff. It's just like little flavors like that just make it feel like a cohesive story.
We're still in that world.
World building. Yeah,
it's in the manor.
It's really, really good, bud. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for the record. I was a purple Game Boy Color, just in case you
see through, and I've got it in my vicinity.
Yeah, it's purple.
Like
too.
it's somewhere here.
Did a good job with Marcello. You've really leaned into that Australian accent.
I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I'm just literally like vague Australian sounds in the hopes that it just falls. Because last week I had a stroke. I genuinely, like 2 weeks ago, I was just like, just dying.
How was your voice? How's your throat holding up, Luke? You maintain well. I thought about halfway through you might start filtering.
I'm all right with deep voices, husky things.
That was a good driver. That's a good driver voice. Really good driver voice. I like that driver voice.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I did like, Adam. You as Beryl the Younger.
Yeah, Beryl the Younger. You nailed that, buddy.
Very, very similar voice for one of my son's bedtime stories. Very similar.
Full disclosure.
Couldn't even tell you what I did now, if I'm honest. But yeah, thank you.
You channeled a 6-year-old perfectly. That's what you did. That was excellent, buddy. Like, really, really good.
It really, really was like perfect. Perfectly read.
Enjoyed the interview scenes and like the cut to the three of them kind of on screen. Yeah.
That, to be fair, was Yola's idea. I stopped.
Okay.
It was. I can't take credit for something that is blatantly from Knives Out.
I know, but I wouldn't have thought of it if you hadn't have mentioned it like ages ago. Yes, that.
You literally messaged me asking for permission, and I was like, "You Knives Out did it." Every mystery has almost done it, I think. But yeah, no, it was really good, but it was really like well paced, really nice. Just like a nice little flow to it. It's just like you just tend to get enthralled with your writing, and I literally was just like pleasantly getting whisked away. It was really good.
Yeah, it was. I think like when we finished, there was no reaction. You were like, was that okay, guys? It was like I was just kind of excited to carry on reading with the.
I know, yeah. I was literally just like,
I could go.
Do we get to carry on now?
It's not.
That's great.
How do you feel about like the threads now of the story? In terms of Yola and Adam.
Now, Burge.
Yeah,
what's going on in the basement? I want to know.
It's really good though. It's a good idea to do that because it like I feel like it focuses like all the mystery on one point. So like me and Adam now don't have to answer 3 separate questions. We have to just answer basement. Make the basement, solve it all. And then literally, like it makes things just so much easier. I really liked it. Really liked the way that you
you've done a really good job at furthering the plot, furthering the story, in the sense that, like, obviously we had all the American tourists there, and you always knew there was going to be a point where they weren't in the know, and then they're in the know, and obviously we've made that transition now. So the tension, the seriousness of what's going on is present, like thickly so.
Yeah,
you can feel that it's coming to a conclusion.
But you also answered questions that like spared us having to answer questions. So you refer to what the driver wants as driver 451, which just means that the driver has loads of iterations, and we don't really have to like delve into like the driver's origin now because we just like there's loads of drivers. That's it. And then there's also like you managed to take away Beryl's murder like immediately from us, like not necessarily like, you know, who poisoned you. She has to solve it herself. So we still have to like figure out who poisoned her. But fundamentally, like Beryl is now an entity, so we don't have to necessarily deal with that body much anymore. So it's brilliant. It's great. Now we just have basements.
You're saying that like a small child didn't sprout out of a corpse.
Yeah, but like I feel like the good thing he's done. That's normal. That's life.
Standard day-to-day.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
do we have to elaborate on that? No, but it's kind of true though, because
I feel like
we have hive minds.
Beryl Bainbridge is a multiversal.
Yeah, but we have Marcel, who's always been a kangaroo, but we have like a hive mind in it. We have robots. We have Beryl, who just was like a nut inside an older person. All those things, because we've established this, like this is the baseline level of weird.
Sure.
This is the stuff we don't have to explain. So yeah, we're fine. We don't need to elaborate on that, do we?
Sorry,
we can just say like
a big fan of the Austin Powers reference as well.
Yeah.
Properly threw me back. That was great.
Do you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me.
I found it hard to keep the voice on because I was just in my head. I was just like, kind of Austin Powers. That was really difficult.
That was a really good reference. Do you know what this reminds me of, Iolo? Because you're the only one that I know. It reminds me of Dirk Gently, and it's like
yes, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, just like passive bizarreness that like needs no elaboration.
Things
but yeah. It just dawned on me that the title of this script is Interviews in a Nutshell, and that's excellent work there as well.
I think I described like I was writing I came up with the idea of a younger Beryl inside the older Beryl's body. Don't know where that came from, but I'd got that idea, and so I started writing it, and then I was like, she peels the two halves away like a nut. So that was just like the only thing I could think of was that. This is me in a nutshell. It's going on.
And I really liked your dim light. Not stupid light, like low light, and then you reference that again in like the post-credit scene where you're just like in a dim alleyway, very stupid alleyway, and I was just like, it's really funny, just like little callbacks like that, just to make your writing sprout.
I love it.
And then George, the only big reveal was George working for a cybernetics company.
Cover as a postie, because I think he referred to himself as a postie ages ago. So
no,
like a cover.
No, Roger's the postie.
Roger's the postie.
Roger was a postie.
Okay. Wait, is George the Scouser?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. You're George.
Well, he's
George. That didn't dawn on me. Good thing you mentioned that. Cool. So, George, my Scouser. So like that it just dawned on me that I have to elaborate that now. So maybe we do have a fair bit of elaborating between us, Adam. It's like, God damn it! I thought it was just basement.
So is that the way we're going now? You're doing a two-headed.
I don't mind.
I like that idea. If I'm honest,
I quite like that idea of doing like one. I like a double bill. Yeah,
double bill. Unless you guys think it's cheating somewhat. We'll bow to your thing.
It's quite an idea. Maybe do it as a one-off and see how we get on with it. It'd be interesting to bounce ideas, especially because there's so much that's gone into like getting to this point. It'd be good for you to kind of bounce ideas off each other a little bit.
100%.
See if you can.
And maybe we just make it like not necessarily make it like a double bill, but make it slightly longer, and just like not too long. You know what I mean? But it's like just a little bit longer, just like maybe like 30 to 40.
Double bill would be cool.
Oh my god, double bill! I think it would just be too laborious to read, though.
We'll just see how you get on. You start writing it, see
possibly.
if it feels like there's 2 episodes on that rather than forcing it.
Do you want to do the spinner to see?
I think we should. I think the metrics show that the spinner is the most popular section of the stream, so I think we need to do the spinner.
The traffic is like
why are we spinning?
Through the roof.
Because it's what the fans want, Iolo.
Okay, fine.
You've seen the numbers.
It's gratuitous, but
the spinners. If you do 2 episodes to figure out who goes first, right?
Okay, so we're still having separate episodes, except we're just collaborating on said episodes.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Like one of you takes the lead.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I thought we were just going to amalgamate.
I thought
an episode.
we were essentially writing like a feature film for the end, and we was going to split it in half.
I still think I need to spin it.
I don't necessarily have to spin, Nate. Like literally, like flavors of jam.
Spin the fucking wheel around.
Okay, right. I'll spin it now. Right, here we go. Here is spinning. You know what? This whole separate, like maybe we should separately write.
I was gonna do the gag.
No, I'm sorry. Right, okay. Flavors of jam. 15 minute spreads to make this thing.
Jams?
Yeah, I'm just gonna add it to the spinner. I'm googling flavors of jam.
Here's a word from our sponsor.
Yeah, jams.
Round trees, jams. Delicious on everything.
Classic jam section.
Do we have a? Yeah, we got a jam transition noise.
Jam transition.
Give us the jam theme song, Luke.
Jam.
Jam.
All right, this is the reason for jam. Is
what is the reason for jam?
Is this?
Washed off jam.
Okay, jam spinner. Let's see what jam we select. So the jam is.
This is our sponsor, yeah.
Yep. And today's sponsor.
I very dislike that the colours aren't representative of the fruits.
Luke Williams, you saw how quickly I did that. I don't know. I just wanted to put a jam spinner. Yeah, excellent episode, guys. Good job.
It's raspberry
all
jam.
the way around.
It's the best. So.
Yeah, I feel like blueberry jam.
I think that's the hottest spur just come at us.
Marmite is the answer, so you can all fuck off.
I had a curry today made with Marmite in it, and it was very nice.
And on that bombshell,
just taking a turn.
Tune in next week to my review of Marmite curry. Excellent work, guys. And is it a wave away?
Cheers, Burge.
Thanks, buddy. Good job, buddy. Bye. Did someone blow kisses? Nice.